He's back by very popular demand. Dr. Ben Dworkin, director of the Rowan Institute for Public Policy and Citizenship at Rowan University. Good to see you, Ben.
Good to see you, Steve. Thanks for having me back.
As always, listen, we're doing this at the end of June, be seen a little bit later. Put in perspective the January 6th hearings, the congressional hearings. President just said, the former president just said the other day, hey, listen, they're doctoring these videos. This was just a simple protest that got out of hand. That's what President Trump said. A, is he accurate? B, why should the rest of the state and the nation care about the January 6th hearings?
Okay, so first of all, no, he was not accurate. What happened on January 6th was an insurrection, and it was unprecedented in American history. And that's why these hearings are so significant. And there are three big sort of factors I think we should be considering in terms of the implications of these hearings. First of all, it's a historical record. I mean, this is the first time somebody has really done thousands of interviews, just seen footage that the media had not seen before, that the public had not seen before. So putting it all together officially to say, this is what happened, here is the proof, here are the people talking about it, that's part of it. A second part is just that it lays the groundwork for possible criminal proceedings, and not just contempt of Congress, which several people have been charged with already, but moving beyond that for official corruption, impeding official government action, intimidation, consumer
inciting a riot?
Yes, incitement. All of this is possible down the road, but it needs to be laid out now. And then, of course, the third factor is that it's fodder for politics, because all of this involves Donald Trump. And if Donald Trump, who remains the key figure in today's National Republican Party and the odds-on favorite to be the 2024 presidential nominee, then this has to matter, I think, for America, because those who are looking at this, those who don't want to see Donald Trump, are going to be using this material, the information from these hearings, in order to make that case.
So, Ben, let me ask you this, and Rowan University, one of our longtime higher ed partners, Ben and I have had a lot of these conversations offline as well, but I want to put it out here right now. The big lie, the argument that the 2020 election was stolen, that 70 to 80% of Republicans, when polled, believe that Joe Biden is not the legally elected president of the United States, that President Trump continues to say the election was stolen. Question. And what happened on the 6th happened on the 6th because of the belief of that. What do you believe that means? Again, right behind you, the Institute for Public Policy and Citizenship. What does this have to do with elections and citizenship moving forward?
I think it just makes it's a very challenging time to be an American citizen, which is why places like RIPAC, the Rowan Institute for Public Policy and Citizenship, need to grow and exist in the first place. It's a challenging time. You know, we used to be a country where if you laid out the American electorate on a diagram, we look like a bell curve. Right? We were all mostly in the middle, people right of center, people left of center, and then you had the extremes. And because of media, because of the politics of our generation, we've split because we watch different news programs. We see a different perspective of the world. We're no longer that bell curve. Now we're sort of like a two-hump camel. The center has been hollowed out, and people are generally on these two sides. And this hyper-partisanship, this kind of division, makes it tough to come together in any kind of format in terms of the American polity. And this is it's a very challenging time to be a citizen, which is why it's so important to be an engaged, informed citizen right now.
So along those lines, for people who are saying, Steve, seriously, you're doing another program talking about January 6th, talking about the election of 2020, talking about President Trump, talking about the insurrection, if you will, at the Capitol. Shouldn't we be talking about inflation, President Biden, his inability to take responsibility, as many would argue, legitimately so in the eyes of many, that he is not taking responsibility for gas prices, inflation, the Afghanistan situation, a whole range of issues. We in the media, including those of us in public broadcasting, we're focusing on the wrong thing. Move on from January 6th. Let's get focused on things that, quote, as many Republicans say, and others, that people, quote, really care about, Ben. Is that what we should be doing? What people really care about, and then doing that programming?
Look, I think we could walk and chew gum at the same time. The American people aren't stupid. They can do more than one thing, and they can focus on more than one
Can we,
thing.
Ben? Can we?
Yes, absolutely we can. If people treat the American public like serious people, as opposed to saying, I'm going to give you 3 bullet points and that's all you're capable of learning or understanding. There's subtlety in politics. There are issues we all face. You can't ignore January 6th if for no other reason than Donald Trump will not ignore January 6th in the 2020 election. And he is still out there. He is the guest who won't leave. But you still obviously have issues like, inflation and everything else and supply chain that we still have to deal with as well.
But Ben, here's the thing. There's a piece that was written by our colleague Tom Moran over at NJ.com, the Star Ledger. He talks about, quote, Republican selective laryngitis. You can pick it up. You can't see that right there. Go read Tom Moran on NJ.com. Republican selective laryngitis spreading in New Jersey swing districts. So there are several congressional districts in New Jersey that may, in fact, in this 2022 election in November, dictate who controls the House of Representatives in Congress in Washington. The 7th district with Tom Malinowski, the incumbent congressman, Tom Kaine Jr., state senator running against him. Tom Kaine Jr., we've had on many times. He will not talk about the election of 2020. He will not talk about January 7th. He does not talk about whether he believes President Trump incited a riot. He doesn't say anything about whether he thinks President Biden's the legally elected president or not. Point being, there are a whole range of Republicans. In Andy Kim's district, Congressman Kim, he's saying his Republican opponent won't say a word about January 6th. You said we can't ignore it. Moran's saying many Republican candidates for Congress are ignoring it because it doesn't help them and they have a better chance of winning. If they do, House is likely to go Republican.
It's true. Look, the House is likely to go Republican for a number of different reasons. The question that I think Americans have is, what's the Republican Party that's going to be in charge of Congress going to be like? Are you going to have people who understand what happened on January 6th and are ready to deal with it, hold people accountable, and move beyond? Or are you going to have people who will cynically ignore everything that happened on January 6th, deny that it happened in many ways, and simply try to pass or pull one over the eyes of the American public and the voters of New Jersey? I think this is part of what elections are for, to hold people accountable. And people will hold people accountable because the economy is not doing great and the Democrats are in charge. So there are folks out there who will hold Democrats accountable. And there are folks out there who have to hold Republicans accountable for not wanting to say anything, for not wanting to upset that part of their party that will be upset, even if they personally don't agree with that view that nothing really happened on January 6th.
Last point on this. So, and again, I know there's a time issue here, but I'm struck by people believing, they'll often ask me, so Steve, where are you in the media? Are you left or right? You with Trump, Biden? Who are you with? And I'll ask them, I'll say, you know what? I didn't think we were supposed to pick sides, meaning this conversation is about what we saw on that video about January 6th. Police officers were assaulted. Congress was attacked. The election, they attempted to stop it. That's not a political point of view. And that's not some soapbox I'm on. Is it not fair to say that we in the media have responsibility to say what it is and people can decide for themselves, but we don't have to we're for or against one candidate or another, and that dictates how we cover or analyze these things, Ben? Am I making too much of that?
No, I think the media has a crucial role. But, as we all know, the media is a very diverse lot these days. Anybody with a cell phone can technically call themselves media. And so it's important for the media to be able to present what happened, to show video evidence, to talk to people, to explain to folks what happened. Whether anyone thinks it's important or not, that's the voters' decision. Do you care about what happened on January 6th? If you don't, then you're going to vote accordingly. If you do, then you will vote accordingly. But someone's got to tell you what happened on January 6th.
Ben Dworkin from Rowan University, the Public Policy and Citizenship Institute there. Thank you, Ben. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Steve. Appreciate it.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
State of Affairs with Steve Adubato is a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation. Funding has been provided by Atlantic Health System, The Turrell Fund, supporting Reimagine Childcare. New Brunswick Development Corporation. Choose New Jersey. Veolia. Operating Engineers, Local 825. NJM Insurance Group. New Jersey's Clean Energy Program. And by the New Jersey Education Association. Promotional support provided by NJ.com. And by Insider NJ.
NJM Insurance Company has been serving New Jersey policyholders for more than 100 years. But just who are NJM's policyholders? They're the men and women who teach our children, the public sector employees who maintain our infrastructure, the workers who craft our manufactured goods, and New Jersey's next generation of leaders, the people who make our state a great place to call home. NJM, we've got New Jersey covered.